The reshape tool undoubtedly does a great job reshaping the segments, but there are a few special cases where this tool falls short and needs help. For example, through reshape tool, we cannot exclude the anchor points from an existing selection. Notice that if I shift drag over the anchor points I want to deselect, nothing happens. Even if I click or drag over the empty space, the reshape tool refuses to deselect. Despite this behavior of the reshape tool being very productive in most cases, it might bother you sometimes. So there are some scenarios like this that the reshape tool cannot handle alone, and that's where the direct selection comes to the rescue. While working with the reshape tool, we can just hold down the control key to invoke the direct selection tool and use it to make and modify selections for the reshape tool. This combination of the direct selection and the reshape tool works pretty well together and makes the reshaping process much easier and faster. In Illustrator, we have so many shapes that we don't have to draw manually because they are already there on the toolbar, and they are not like normal drawings we draw with the pen tool. In fact, Illustrator recognizes them differently than the objects we draw with any other drawing tool. Now let's understand how exactly they are different from each other. I have 3 shapes here. This one is made with the help of the polygon tool, and if we check its object type, we will find that it is of polygon object type. Clicking on these ellipses is going to reveal some shape parameters that can be used to modify the polygon shape. The second one is an identical polygon, but drawn with the pen tool. And if we check its object type, it is a path. And it doesn't have any shape parameters like this polygon shape. So it doesn't matter if 2 objects look alike. If they have different object types, that means they are different. Alright, after the pen tool drawing, we have a star shape, which has been made with the help of the star tool. If we select it and check its object type, we will find that just like a pen tool drawing, this star shape too is of a path object type. So this means not everything we draw with the shape tools is going to have a specific or special object type. And just like this, there are going to be some shape tool drawings that Illustrator is going to read as paths. We will see how we can convert a path into a shape, and vice versa. Here we have 2 objects. This one is a shape and this one is a path. Let's start by converting this path into a shape. Select the path and navigate through the object menu. Then go to shape and click on convert to shape. Now if we check its object type, it has changed to polygon now. And all the shape properties are now available to use. To convert it back to path, just move an anchor point to distort the shape. Now once it becomes an invalid geometry, Illustrator would stop reading it as a shape and expand it or convert it into a path. There is another better way to expand a shape where we don't have to distort the shape like this. Just select the shape and click on expand shape button to expand it. Same thing can be done through object, shape and expand shape. Now notice that its object type has been changed to path. So this is how conversion works for shapes and paths. We are going to start with the shape tools. So the first shape we have in the list is the rounded rectangle. Now there are 2 ways we can draw a shape. The first way is to just activate a shape, then click anywhere on the artboard to get a pop-up like this, and put in the desired values for the dimensions and other parameters. Or we can just click and drag anywhere to get the shape. Holding down the shift key constrains the height and width proportions and makes the shape even from every side. We also have some hotkeys for the corner radius. If we press the up and down arrow keys, it is going to increase or decrease the corner radius by 1 pixel. Pressing the right arrow will assign the maximum value to the corner radius based on the current size of the rectangle, while the left arrow will set the corner radius to 0. Alright, let's go to the properties panel and click on these ellipses to reveal some more options. Besides some transformation options, we have some parameters that deal with the corners of the rectangle. Here we can specify the corner radius for each corner of the rectangle. They all are linked right now, so changing the one is going to change all of them. We can unlink them by clicking on this button and work independently with each corner. Clicking on these buttons is gonna reveal 2 more corner types, inverted round and chamfer. We will talk about the corner widgets. one of the very helpful features which was introduced in the 17th generation of the Illustrator. So what is a corner widget to begin with? It is this point on the corner that when moved changes the radius of the corner. And if we press the up or down arrow key, it is going to cycle through the different corner types. Alt clicking on a widget does the same thing. Now let's talk about how do we select these widgets. To select a widget, just click on one and it will be highlighted. Use shift click if you want to select multiple widgets. Corner widgets are not limited to the shapes, and anything with corners can have them. Here we have 3 paths, each making a different angle. If we double click on a corner widget, we get this pop-up with some corner options. These options can also be accessed by clicking on this link. We already learned about the first 2 things, but this rounding option is new to us, and it offers 2 rounding methods, absolute and relative. Let's understand how do they work. I want to work with all of these corners, so I am selecting all the 3 points. Let's enter 15 pixels for the radius and keep the rounding type to absolute. Now absolute takes the radius value and applies it uniformly to every corner, regardless of its angle. If we align a circle of 15 pixel radius to the corner widgets of these corners, it would fit perfectly. So the absolute rounding applies the radius value accurately without altering it. On the other hand, relative rounding considers the angle of the corners before rounding them. Now all of these corners are still using 15 pixels for the radius, but notice each of these now has different corner roundness. This is because of the different angles they have. The one with wider angle doesn't get affected, but as the angle gets narrowed, the corner becomes more oval. If you don't want the corners to be super round and want to add some variation to them, relative rounding is a good option. There is an option in the preferences through which we can control the availability of the corner widgets. Under the Selection and Anchor Display tab, we can set the angle threshold for the corner widgets. Let's use 90 for the angle threshold. Now the corner widgets will not be available for the angles greater than 90 degrees. To turn the corner widgets off altogether, go to View menu and click on Hide Corner Widget. Now the corner widgets will not show up on any corner until we go back in the View menu and unhide them. Our next tool is the Ellipse tool, which is used to create circles, ellipses and even the spheres if you are working with 3D. Just like any other shape, we can draw an ellipse or circle by clicking and dragging through the mouse. This point here is called the pie widget. Let's move this one out of the way to reveal the second pie widget. With the help of these 2 points, we can control the start and the end angle of the pie. Same thing can be done from these 2 parameters. Moving a pie widget while holding down the control key maintains the pie angle. Double clicking on either of these 2 widgets resets them back to 0. This button right here inverts the pie. And if we alt click on it, we get a copy of the major or the minor sector of the pie. Now there's one thing that most of the Illustrator users don't know about this tool. It is very simple yet very useful feature. If I draw a circle, notice that the bottom right corner of the bounding box is aligned to the cursor. But if we hold down the control key, the outline of the circle shape is going to stick to the cursor. We can use this feature to align the circle with other objects while drawing. Like here I am trying to align the border of a circle to the top right corner of a square, and I am struggling to align them properly. Now with the help of the control key, I can easily snap the circle to the corner of the box. The next tool we have here is the Polygon tool. Just like our last 2 shapes, Polygon shape also has some parameters under the Properties panel. Almost every option here talks for itself. Like this parameter is for the rotation. After that we have corner types and corner radius. This one is for the radius of the polygon. And through this one, we can change the length of the sides of the polygon. This slider controls the number of sides of the polygon. This little point on the right side of the bounding box does the same thing, but we can only go up to 11 sides through this point. This second point is the corner widget, and right now we have only one widget controlling the radius of the corners. But if we switch to the direct selection tool, we will get a widget for every corner. Now let's talk about the hotkeys that we can use while working with the polygon shape. Let's drag a polygon first. Now if we press the up and down arrow keys, it is going to increase or decrease the size of our polygon shape. Moving the cursor around is going to rotate the polygon, and holding down the shift key is going to lock its rotation to 0 degree.